holy crap, I'm a bona fide superhero and I want to look like this at all times. Sorry about your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero. Trying on the suit for the first time was crazy. It was insane. It made it very real in that moment. It already felt. I mean, look, like I said, I mean, even now it still doesn't feel entirely real. I'm talking about a movie that hasn't come out yet, but we're so excited to bring to the people. I mean, I've only ever seen. People keep asking me like, "How much have you seen?" I'm like, "I've seen as much as you've seen. I've seen the trailer. That's all I've seen. Yeah, that's all I've seen." But I have every confidence in David Sandberg and Peter Safran, our producer, and our executives at New Line, and our executives at DC and Warner Brothers. I mean, everybody really believes in this project and believed in me, and I'm like beyond honored that they did. But it's still all kind of surreal. But trying on the suit definitely gave it a little bit more reality to me, and then being on set and it being lit up and me with the whole thing and. Cameras are rolling. Huh? It's a practical life.
That's cool.
And that was actually a moment that, there's a lot of these moments in the movie, it would take like 6 hours to shoot because we had like a bunch of different cameras and this lighting, but just like Shazam stands and looks, this moment. And there's this, a couple of those moments. There's one, there's like this like mist and fog, and I'm standing up in like this big, strong, heroic pose. And the light from my chest was like shining through the mist, and it felt really cool in the moment. And then I went back and I watched it on the monitors, and I was like, "Holy crap! I'm a bona fide superhero, and I want to look like this at all times." Can I just go to Starbucks? Yeah, I'll take a latte, please. Yeah, it's real. It's a practical thing.
You're living that dream that few others have, where you've gone from Marvel to DC, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I have to ask you because the Warriors 3 got a very unceremonious send-off that was a little disappointing, and I don't know how you felt about it, but. In hindsight, now that you're cast as Shazam, do you feel like that was a blessing in disguise?
100%. So yeah, look, in the midst of it, Taika Waititi is such a talented director. I was very happy to go and reprise Fandral even for a day in Ragnarok. Just to work with him and to go see Chris again and the various people that came over from the Dark World, and also to die at the hands of Cate Blanchett is if you're gonna die at the hands of Cate Blanchett. But yeah, it was a bummer. I mean, I felt like, oh my God, I got to be a superhero. I got to be in the comic world of movies, and then wasn't really utilized, and then I was dead. So it was a bit of a bummer. All that said, like you just mentioned, in hindsight, if I hadn't died in that movie, there's a good chance that I never would have gotten Shazam, because my contract would still be active with Marvel, and who knows if they would have, all of a sudden, if I was testing, they would have been, no, we want to hold on to you because we're going to go put you in this and then have Thanos snap his fingers and turn me to dust later. I don't know. It all, people say everything happens for a reason. I don't want to be so trite as to just shove it off as that, but 100% it worked out in my favor, and such an amazing favor. I mean, I can't think of another superhero that I would rather play. And there's a lot of superheroes over the years that I have really thought, oh my God, if I could just play that character, and I wasn't even really aware of. I knew Shazam very, very cursory in passing.
Right.
But didn't really understand that it was essentially the movie Big meets the movie Superman, and I get to play a 14-year-old. Like, I'm a man-child. This is the greatest. I barely have to act half the time.
It's the dream.
And you just be enthusiastic and like be stoked to be a superhero. That's another thing. A lot of superheroes, there's so much like gravitas, and they're moody, and they're like, oh, I gotta go save the world again. And Billy Batson and like maybe Peter Parker, those are the only two characters that I know of in comicdom that are just beyond stoked that they have these powers and they want to go run. Like, I can fly. You get to the wish fulfillment that's in the movie is also the wish fulfillment of me in my own life, which is, the parallels are beautiful.
Right. We have so many reluctant heroes, and then he's like the eager hero.
Yeah,
It's like, yes,
totally.
let me get out there.
Yeah. Let me get him. Yeah.
Your phone's charged. Your phone's charged.
The hell?
The trailer just had me in stitches.
Yeah.
How would you say the tone of Shazam is different from other DC movies that we've seen?
Well, it's by its own nature, it's full of levity and full of heart.
Yeah.
Because it is about a 14-year-old kid. And by the way, and because it's based on the new 52 comic, there's a whole bunch of other kids in this foster home that Billy ends up with. So you can't have a movie with a bunch of kids in it and make it really, hard R or whatever. You can't have that crazy of language or that crazy of visuals because there's a lot of kids in it and you need to kind of, find that balance. Other movies, other superhero movies I think they're hard at work trying to find levity to build into it. This just already has it in there. And then it was more a matter of kind of balancing out the grit and balancing out the kind of, stakes and everything, which David Sandberg, coming from a horror background, can do in spades. So I think that's one of the biggest changes or the biggest differences in tone is that it is just by nature got a lot of really fun, what happens when you give a 14-year-old that much power. Mm-hmm. Funny things happen,
Yeah.
And what happens when you give a 14-year-old that is chosen literally by the wizard to be given these powers because he has a really good heart.
I'm sure you've thought pretty quickly about the possibility of joining the Justice League on screen.
100%.
Yeah.
I was flown into LA to camera test for the role. They put me up in a hotel in Hollywood, and then they, the next day they drove me to Warner Brothers to camera test. And on the way from Hollywood to Burbank, there were a few billboards for Justice League, because Justice League was just about to come out. And I was on my way to go to my camera test, and I'm looking at all of those amazing people and characters. And I know the comics well enough to know that Shazam in many iterations is a part of the Justice League. So I'm on my way to essentially go decide my fate or have other people decide my fate. And I'm looking at these posters going, if this all goes well, and I get this job and we go make this movie and it does well and this does well, then theoretically, I'll be on that next billboard with all of those characters. And so I haven't just been thinking about it since I've been the character. I've been thinking about it since well before I got the job. I was like, come on, please. Because, oh man, that would be so much fun. Like, the youth of like Ezra as the Flash and me as Shazam, and the way that we would be kind of goofy together, but also, I'm a 14-year-old and you got Wonder Woman there, and like you just having a total crush on this like essentially older woman. And like, how do you act cool when you're crushing on the most beautiful friggin' woman in the world, who also happens to be a goddess, an Amazonian goddess, and trying to act cool around Superman and Batman and all that stuff. I mean, my brain was just immediately going to all those possibilities because I think it would be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was going to ask you which dynamic between your character and someone else you would like to see the most, but you pretty much ran through the entire Justice League.
All of them, yes. Yeah. I like all of the dynamics.
All of them, yeah. I think
Dynamices.
the Flash and Shazam would be a great pairing.
Super fun.
Great.
We'd literally be like racing each other. I mean, I love that bit at the end of Justice League when it was Superman and Flash racing each other. But yeah, Shazam and Flash would be doing it on a regular basis. I think I'd be trying to arm wrestle Superman all the time. Yeah, we'd just be goofing off. I mean, oh God, I wanted to have it so bad. So bad!
Also in the trailer, we get some references to the Justice League. We see that, what's Jack's character's name?
Freddie.
Yeah, he's a fan of Batman and
Yep.
Superman.
Oh, yeah.
So does your character then kind of get influenced by what those heroes do?
100%. So our movie takes place very squarely in the DC universe. In fact, I would argue that we're kind of the most self-aware of it, because the movies that we all watch, Aquaman and Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, they're all basically documentaries in their worlds. These are all real world events that have happened. Batman and Superman fighting, Superman saving all of Metropolis while simultaneously destroying the entire city. That all really happened. Justice League really happened. So these are real figures, and Freddy's obsessed with all of them, as are most kids and people. Billy just happens to not be, because Billy's been trying to find his biological mother, and he's on this whole kind of foster, living on the streets, foster kid journey. But Freddy, once Billy gets this power, he immediately goes to Freddy saying, like, I don't know how to, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I need your help. And so Freddy becomes the coach. And through that, Billy learns a lot about all of these other characters. And I think that helps definitely form his ability to go and be the best superhero that he can be.
Have you heard of the Shazam Kazam controversy?
Yes.
The genie thing?
Yeah, 100%. When I got this job, everyone was like, wait, wasn't that the Shaq movie when he was a genie? I was like, no, that's Kazam.
Yeah, because Shazam was a genie movie starring Sinbad that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist. This is a complete Mandela effect thing, and I still haven't been able to figure this out.
Did you remember do you have a memory of the Sinbad movie?
100%
Me too.
100%
No,
I do.
it was real. I remember it.
Yeah, but can you find it online?
No!
No, you can't!
It's so freaky.
I don't know what's going on with this. It's very, very, very strange. And only parts of the population remember it and other parts don't.
No, I remember it.
I think I need to go track down Sinbad. I need to go pin him to the ground.
No, he was tweeting about it, and he was like, I was never in a genie movie. You guys are crazy. And it's not like you would mix up Shaquille O'Neal and Sinbad.
No,
Like,
not at all. But also the name specifically, because Kazam, although it sounds similar, is not Shazam. And why would we, it's not like Shaq and one name of a movie and Sinbad and another name of a movie. Like, that was a different thing. It's a completely different thing. Somebody did post online somewhere, it was like a little clip of like a kid going through like an attic, like going through boxes or something, and all of a sudden Sinbad popped out. I was like, yeah, but that's not actual evidence. I don't know what that is. It was like some random clip. We gotta get to the bottom of this.
No,
stuff.
I've gotta find it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in an alternate Berenstain Bears universe.
Yeah. Berenstain Bears!
You know what I'm talking
Yes,
about?
I know
Oh my
exactly
God.
what you're
It's
talking about.
really been
this is
written.
all Mandela effect stuff.
Yeah, no, this is ruining my life.
It is.
yeah. Just to wrap it up, I know because you were saying you grew up like loving all these characters. Who was your favorite character growing up and why?
I was really big into the mutant world. So like in Marvel, I loved the X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force. I just loved the idea that a regular person just out of nowhere had a genetic mutation all of a sudden gave them some superpower. I'm still kind of waiting for that to happen now.
Do you do what I do when you go out the grocery store and you pretend you're a Jedi?
With the automatic doors?
Yeah.
I kind of do sometimes.
Everybody does.
But
this,
no,
right?
here's the thing. The automatic doors that are just the ones that sense you, which are most automatic doors, those are fine. But it's the ones, I like to control them with like the handicap button.
Okay.
Because those ones, then I feel like I actually have more power over the door. Otherwise, you're just walking up and it senses you. But like, if I can walk up and like hit a button and then I kind of like do this and I open it, then I feel very powerful.
I do that every
It's
time.
so dumb. We're the dumbest.
Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Thank you for a lovely interview.